am Gouda. All right. So I'm trying to get the hang of this stage channel since it's the first time used it. So it's fun. We do have an in-game event server going in. I won't be too active in game though, since I'll be reading and answering. Are you okay, Ryan?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
We do have the Q&A form pinned in the Q&A text channel under our normal voice channels. If you can't see that, make sure to grab the all voice role from the roles and info channel. We did get a ton of questions on the forum, but more than half of them aren't meant for staff management. So like questions about the state of the server, your suggestions, bugs, whatever, we don't deal with that. So don't submit those kinds of questions because we're just gonna skip them. But anything about the staff system or anything we'll answer as long as it's appropriate. So the first question we have is for Sven from Raybot. How did you become such a good mentor? He dared to say even the best.
No. Well, thanks for the question. I think I I've become a quote unquote good mentor by being open to change. Being able to look at how you're doing things, reflect on what you're doing, and find ways of doing things in a more efficient or doing things better is something that's really important to me as a person, and I'm sure to my mentees. But in all honesty, I don't know if anyone's here seen like the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. But Aang learns from other people in order to become the full Avatar, and I feel like that's kind of the same in my situation. For example, I learned a lot of the automation stuff that I've done through Doll when I was her MA. I've learned how to have a good temperament as a mentor through Lookdan, who was my mentor as a trainee. And I learned how to be a rat by being friends with Twist. So I think in combination, it's important to not only listen, um, but to also be amenable to changing the ways that you do your own processes and be okay if things can be done better and be a student in someone else's classroom, so to speak. Oh, and also having incredible MAs. I wouldn't be here at all if I didn't have Umbreon and Ravenpaw, who are just incredible people and incredible workers and incredible mentees. A mentor is only as good as his mentees or her mentees. So yeah, that's thank you for the question.
All right. The next one is why did you start being staff on Mineplex? For me personally, I encountered a ton of rule breakers while playing Super Smash Mobs, and I wanted to be able to contribute towards making the server a better place through punishing those rule breakers. Yeah, I know, big goals, right? Um, how about you, Harry?
All right, so I'm just gonna reiterate what Toki said. I began reporting a bunch of rule breakers, and I wanted to be able to take some action against them myself. I know that's kind of a strange reason, but eventually that developed into me wanting to actually help more players out. And so once I joined the staff team, I was able to do that in easier fashion. And so far, oh, I can focus on something. Right.
All right,
So, oh, yeah.
Luffy.
I personally, when I became staff, I was really inspired by a friend of mine. Her name was Pace of Cake, and like I became friends with her, and she was a staff member, and she just really like inspired me and feel like, wow, like I could like really make a difference on this community that I love if I joined the staff team. So I did.
Ryan?
I joined initially out of curiosity, if I'm being completely honest. Well, that's what like initially caused me to apply. But as I like learned more about the position, I mainly did it just because I wanted to be like a friendly face for people in the community, and I just wanted to help out more than I could as I could as a community member. So that's pretty much it.
Ben?
Treaty boot camp.
Demoted.
That's it.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, nice. Remind me to demote him after this. All right, Umbreon.
I would say when I first joined the staff team, I really wanted to make a difference in the community. Mineplex has been like a massive part of my life for a really long time, and I just felt like joining the staff team, I'll be able to help make a difference, whether that be helping out the community, punishing rule breakers, or suggesting ideas. Like I wanted to make a difference.
Alrighty. So the next question for everyone is, what is your favorite minigame, and if you could add one, what would it be? For me, I really enjoyed Nano and SSM. If I could add another like game type, it would probably be Murder Mystery because those are kind of fun games like Among Us and whatnot. Harry?
Right, so my favorite mini game is Sky Wars. I've gotten around 5,000 wins in my time playing on the network, although I have my reasons for no longer playing it, which mainly stems from a lack of motivation. And then if I were to add another mini game, I'd probably add some sort of survival game mode like Bedrock has, because in my free time, I play some survival.
Nice. Luffy?
So my favorite mini game is definitely Dragon Escape. I love Dragon Escape. And if I could add one mini game, I would add Dragon Escape to Bedrock again. Because, you know, Dragon
So-
Escape. Enough
Someone
said.
likes parkour.
Or
Ryan?
Mine is Super Smash Mobs. I mainly got into that with my friends when we would play it together. And if I were to add one, I'd probably one type of server that I like was like an economy type server where like you can like kind of work your way up, earn money by doing various things and like own plots and stuff like that. So maybe like a creative housing for Java, I guess, would be something that's kind of cool with a twist.
Sven?
SSM for sure. I think one game I would love to add is SSM 1v1s. I know that's something that the community is like the SSM community has asked for a very long time. And I think it would be a really cool thing to have to bolster that community a bit.
Umbreon?
I would definitely say my favorite game is Nano. I don't really play it that much anymore, but a couple months ago, like it was all I would play. Since I'm not very good at PvP, I kind of like the fast-paced mini game style of it. And if I had to add a game to Mineplex, I'd probably agree with Toki and go Murder Mystery.
Yes. All right. This next question is geared towards me. Who is my favorite staff/ex-staff? I try not to have favorites, but since you mentioned ex-staff, I definitely have to say that my husband has to be my favorite ex-staff member because, well, it's obvious. Other than that, I don't really play the
Aw.
favorites games. Everyone else is unique in their own ways and brings something different to the team. Next question for pretty much all of us. How is Mod of the Month chosen? I mean, I guess one of us can probably answer this if anyone wants to volunteer. No, maybe I can do it if you guys don't want to.
Go
Some
for it.
mod of the month has been chosen primarily by mentors nominating a mentee or mentees who they feel deserve the award, and then from there, the rest of the team would vote among the nominees, and then post any reasons they had for voting, for or against people, and then we'd get a finalist and eventually get our mod of the month. Pretty straightforward. Our next question is for Ryan. Why do staff applications 99% of the time not pass?
Did you want me to? Okay. So to start, if the 99% is accurate, because like I don't know what the exact number is, but suppose 99% is correct, you have to take into account the fact that a fairly significant portion of these applications are going to be applications that are really short, submitted by individuals who aren't necessarily committed, and mainly like applied out of curiosity. And while some of these individuals might try again, chances are a lot of them probably won't. And I'd say that's where a significant amount of those applications come from. Now, the 99% isn't accurate for individuals who keep trying and attempt to make improvements based on the feedback that they've gathered from recruitment and then reapplied. So in other words, for those who actually take the time to gather the feedback and make improvements, it won't take like 99 applications before you're finally successful. But in terms of like other reasoning, I think recruitment needs to be picky with a lot of things like activity, knowledge, maturity, etc., because ultimately we want staff who will perform well and represent Mineplex in the best light possible. And it's also not really fair or fun if we accept someone knowing they aren't ready, because having poor performance in your trial is also really demotivating. So, and if concerns are about maturity, well, taking a risk, accepting someone who we have deep concerns about, who we're afraid might do things to tarnish Mineplex's image, isn't really in our best interest either. So I'm not sure if that like fully answers the question, but ultimately you want a lot of the applications that are rejected are for like smaller things that are just like problems with the application itself. And that the 99% isn't necessarily accurate for individuals, because if they are really committed, they will get it eventually, and it's not going to take 100 tries.
Thank you, ex-recruiter Ryan. Our next question is for everyone. How is your day going, guys? For me, it's Gouda. I had a dream last night that I was late for the Q&A, so I woke up sort of spooked, but other than that, it's fine. How about you, Harry?
I'd say mine's going pretty well, although I have to go to work later. So
Luffy?
My day is going pretty great. I dyed my hair yesterday, and I was like unsure how I was feeling about it last night. I woke up and looked in the mirror. I was like, "Wow, I was doing a dummy. This looks great." I dyed my bangs and like two pieces like on the side, like that connect to my bangs, pink. Yeah, so I'm doing pretty poggers.
Ooh, like a pastel pink or a neon pink?
Like a pastel. It is a bit bright right now, but it's probably gonna like fade. I'm hoping a little bit.
Nice, nice. Ryan?
My day is going pretty well. I'm happy to be here, but earlier I damaged my car on a pothole, so I'm not very happy about that. But apart from that, all is good.
My day's going okay. I'm having an existential crisis though, because I want to paint my nails black, because I think it would look really nice, but that would mean me having to go and walk to a store to get the nail polish. So I'm having an existential crisis, but I think I'll manage.
All right, Umbreon.
My day's going pretty good. I'm honestly really thankful it's the weekend. I just had probably the longest week of my life. It was my first week back fully in person in school. It was very, very overwhelming. Everywhere was super crowded and it was loud and days were really long. So I'm just happy it's the weekend.
All right, this next question is for everyone. What platform do you play on? I play on both platforms. I think most of us do. If anyone has anything different to say.
Mm-mm.
I play on Java mainly just because the only place I have access to Bedrock is from my iPhone, so it's not ideal.
My answer, I mean, I personally I started on Java, but what I will say is I love Bedrock so much. Like, I'm not a big fan of playing Cake Wars on Java, but Bedrock, absolutely like total banger. I like the jump bridging mechanic that you have access to on Windows, peak. Bedrock all the way.
I feel better about my PvP skills on Bedrock. Playing against people on mobile makes me feel good about myself. This next question is for everyone. Is it possible to stay as a mentoring assistant forever? Promotions from MA to STM do depend a lot on an STM member resigning, which doesn't seem to happen. It depends on your interpretation of forever. It's possible it could take some years for a promotion to occur, but it depends on, like how everything is. Harry?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and reiterate what Toki said. It really depends on everything that happens.
Yeah, I think this might be one of these if anyone has anything different to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the demand for it too. Like if there's mentees, like if there's an abundance of staff members and we need more mentors, then I'm sure, the supply has to meet the demand. Economics. But I think in addition to what has already been said, I think it also just depends on what we're dealing with and what what the demand is for mentors as well.
Yeah, like I think we all like we realize that it does take quite a bit of time. I know a lot of us waited a long time for our promotions to mentor, but and as much as we would love to see our assistants as mentors, like it has to make sense to have the extra mentor. That's what sucks about it, because like we hate to see everyone waiting so long for it, but ultimately, like I said, it has to make sense.
I would also like to say, from an MA perspective, not only is it like really valuable experience, I personally am on social media, a different senior mod team. So I mostly for a while see myself as like just kind of like quote unquote, as the question states, permanent MA, and like being an MA is super important and crucial. Like there's a lot that goes in my opinion, like to like working like and making sure everything is smooth within the mentoring group and everything. And I think that like personally, I be doing it for the love of the game. You feel like I love being an MA and just being an MA. So I think not. I think necessarily like looking at it with like oh man, if you become an MA, like it takes so long to become a mentor. If you become an MA, you're an MA, and that's dope. It's great.
The enthusiasm. All right. This next one is for like the upper management of STM, I guess you could say. As Harassment Month is ending, and to give us a bit of closure to players in the community being affected by harassment on the daily by players or staff members, what we would like to know what you as managers do to handle this type of situation. So staff members definitely should not be harassing players, and if that's happening, contact their supervisor as soon as you can with any and all evidence, and it'll be handled. Unfortunately, since each case varies so much, we can't give you specifics on what exactly will be done to handle it. And all situations are handled privately, but we do take the report seriously and do our best to make the outcome fair based on what the staff member did. If a player is harassing you, you should just always /report or form report them. They get sub 2 harassment punishment. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I think one point that I really want to touch on that you did was the whole thing about reporting it, because like, not to go like too off topic, but oftentimes I'll see posts like, oh, this staff member does this, and like I see a lot of accusations, but like these things never get reported to us. So obviously our hands are a bit tied if we're never like given any kind of information on anything that's going on. But I think the really important step is that you do report it, especially if it's coming from a staff member, since that's like who we're responsible for. But any kind of harassment at all is not tolerated. And like Toki said, we deal with it privately, but it does get dealt with.
And just to add quickly, if this is like a staff member perspective, if you as a staff member is getting harassed, please, please, please approach your supervisor. And you know, we're really in your corner, and we want to help you in any way that we can. So report if you're a community member, if you're a staff member, talk to your mentor. They're here to help and support you in any way that they can.
All right, the next is for everyone who's the tallest on the staff team. We don't keep these stats, but we did figure out the tallest from our team, if you'd like to hear that.
It's Sven. How tall are you, Sven?
I am 6'4". I think like 190 centimeters, 195.
Yeah, I'm 186.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
197.
Looks
Thank you,
like
Timmy.
Timmy's taller, yeah.
Timmy's good at math. Good coder math.
Alrighty, this next one is for Dole, who is not here, but I'll answer it, or other people can too. How are assistants chosen? Why doesn't everyone get 2 assistants? So assistants are chosen right now based on who has sent their interest to Dole previously. We're a bit backed up on people who have done that, so the next time an assistant spot opens, we'll be conducting text-based interviews for everyone on that list that meet the basic requirements of like activity, good behavior, etc. MAs do a lot of global tasks now, opposed to like a while ago. For example, MAs do all mental SRs, all observations, all mentees. So the burden's on the team as a whole rather than a single MA. That's why not everyone has 2 MAs, because they don't necessarily need them. If anyone has anything different though.
I was just gonna say that a lot of the like double MA used to be super, or double assistant used to be super common, like back in like the 2016 and earlier era. But as like the demand went down, we didn't need double assistants. But then I think last year we saw a bit of a resurgence of that need because of the high influx of staff we were getting when the pandemic started. And for now, some of it stuck, and we still have the double assistants, and some just don't need the extra help. Like I know for me personally, I needed it because I had a lot going on between school and work, and it just made sense. But that's pretty much it.
We also have a lot of automation now, as opposed to like a couple years back.
Yes, that does help.
All right. The next question is for you, Ryan. What changes have you made since getting manager of mentoring? What other changes are you going to do?
That's a good question. Thank you to who asked that. So I've only been in the position for a little over a month. I haven't been able to do too much yet because I just finished up my semester. So I haven't really made any crazy changes yet. But I did meet with all the mentors and we discussed just general things about the team, things that we wanted to see change, new ideas. So now I'm at a point where I'm gathering all the ideas and we're going to discuss them. But a lot of changes that are going to be made are going to be based on like feedback that I get, because I think it's important that everyone gets their input for the team. Like I don't want it to be like a one-man show where I decide everything for everyone. Like I want it to be very based on what people want and what people feel like we need. So I don't have any like concrete changes to announce yet, but there will be some in the future.
Alrighty. This next one is for all MAs. What is your favorite part of being an assistant and your least favorite part? Luffy, if you want to go first.
So my favorite part is definitely getting to like work and talk with the ducks and the ducklings, especially the fact that like I was privileged enough to get to work with my own previous mentoring group, and then my least favorite part is definitely the like sadness when a mentee leaves the team, especially like if it's something that like they really couldn't control, like something happens to their computer and they know that like they're like not going to be able to for like a really long time. It's just like not realistic and it's just like out of like everyone's hands. I think it's really sad.
All right, Umbria.
I would say hands down, my favorite part of being an assistant is being able to talk with my mentees and seeing them achieve their goals. That's honestly one of the biggest reasons I became an MA again. Interacting with them is super fun. Seeing them accomplish their goals on the staff team is really rewarding. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is interested in the position. And least favorite part, I honestly do have to agree with Luffy, is seeing mentees leave. Like whatever that reason may be, it's very sad. But yeah, I would definitely say that's my least favorite part.
All right, this next question comes to Sven. What does the documents team even do?
Fair question. So primarily, the documents team is responsible for creating, updating, and maintaining a lot of the internal and external documents for staff and the community. And I would also say on another kind of caveat to the team is also being at the forefront of innovation for the rest of staff management. I know I can speak for myself when I say that a lot of the things that we've done on the documents team to make things easier, like for example, automating the staff management Mentee distribution, like those small little innovative things that we do on the documents team have been kind of adopted STM wide. So it is to work with documents, to keep information, archive information, provide information wherever need be, but to also be at the forefront of change. So I think it's a lot of people think it's just one single thing, but I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that really benefits not only STM but the whole staff community server wide. Good question. Thank you.
All right, this next one is for everyone. How come so many cheaters can play unpunished? This person then goes on to like ask why the staff team's ineffective, even though there's like 50+ mods, and what we will do to fix it. So I definitely understand the frustration the person has playing against cheaters, but they're not really placing it in the right place, to be honest. Staff members do what they can to help prevent rule breakers, but they can't be available 24/7, nor should anyone expect them to. They're volunteers, which means they do what they do for free. Um, if anything, I would be more frustrated with the amount of hackers that are in the game, actual game, like Minecraft itself. rather than a server on Minecraft. I don't know if anyone has anything different.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think there's Mojang is floating around the idea or the eventuality that they're going to be merging or enacting 2FA or something like that on the Minecraft account. So hopefully that will help with the hacking situation in the future. But yeah, I mean, we're all volunteers. We all have lives outside of Mineplex, and it's unreasonable. If we want to keep our staff members, it's unreasonable to give them really high and unattainable expectations for their activity.
I'd also like to add that, like, the best thing you can do if you see someone, like, always, like, you can contribute to, like, helping with, like, the issue. If you post in staff request, I'd say it's, like, probably the fastest way to receive help, and report them. And if those aren't accessible, take evidence and report them on the site, so that, like, they can be held. And the way that the most oh man, killing me while I'm talking to no okay, but the best way to do is, like, because we as a community, both, like, staff and non-staff, can work together to kind of, like, be most effective in our in making sure that there are as few rule breakers as possible. So it's definitely not like, it's something that you can kind of, like, take an active role in, you know? Yes.
Teamwork makes the dream work. All right, this next one's for everyone. What was the strangest moment you had with a mentee? I haven't really been a mentor in a while, so I'll let other people answer this. Harry?
Right. So the strangest moment I had with Mentee was that I was about to go to bed and I got a message from one of my mentees saying that he got muted.
All right, Luffy?
I think the strangest moment, can it be an ex mentee?
Sure.
So everyone in the world obviously loves Dave Rylau, and every conversation I've had with him, because he's a great friend of mine, and he was, before he was promoted to community management, yay him. Oh my god, every time I talk, um, sorry, I keep getting attacked every time I'm speaking, but playing balloons with him, he's a quirky guy, love him, but he is strange, and you know, that is why we love him.
Ryan?
I'd say mine was probably, there's a lot of strange ones. A lot of my times that I hang out with Sven and Twist are definitely memorable, considering they are both former mentees of mine. But if I had to pick one apart from them, I would say was when I was doing an EO, like an end of trial meeting with one of my older mentees, and I don't know what it was, but we were both just really talkative that night. So what usually is like a half hour turned into 4.5 hours. And at one point, like, I was talking with his family and stuff. Like, it was just like really strange, like how it led to that. But anyways, I'd say that's probably my my strangest moment. But fun. It was fun.
Sven?
Ooh, okay, it's kind of similar to Ryan. One of my older mentees, like when I was first promoted, I also talked to their family, and I was working at the immigration department in the Canadian federal government at that time. And so their family started asking me questions about immigrating to Canada. So I was giving them like immigration advice to Canada. Um, while doing an intro meeting. So I think that was the most memorable slash strange slash weird thing I've ever had with a mentee before.
Umbreon?
Oh boy. I would say the strangest moment for me was back when I was a mentor 2 years ago. One of my mentees messaged me and they said that they had accidentally banned themselves. So that was a fun thing to deal with.
I love self-report bans, huh? All right, this next question's for everyone. Do moderators have to meet certain activity quotas, and will they be demoted if they don't meet the quota? What can you tell us about the quota? Yeah, but right now it varies per mentor. We're kind of in discussions about making a more uniform baseline, though. However, anything above the baseline would still be the mentor. If anyone wants to share their specific quotas, you can if you want.
Sure. Not so much about the quotas itself, but I dislike the word quotas because I think quotas is kind of like you must obtain this activity in order to be okay. Like you hear about, telemarketers and you have to call X amount of people, otherwise you're fired. And I don't think that's really reflective of the culture, the expectations that we have for our staff members. For example, I think it's more like I think it's better to say goals. Like you have staff members have a goal. I think for my mentees, it's like for trainees, I think it's like 7 hours a week in game, 3 forum posts a week, and like 15 SRs. But I think I call them goals because if you don't get those numbers that week, it's okay, and it's just something to strive for, not something you must obtain, otherwise you're gone. Like there's a pretty big difference in terms of perception. But those are kind of my goals that I have set. But yeah, that's kind of my view on it.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to that, you have to keep in mind that they're volunteers. And just like we are, if you give them all kinds of ridiculously high expectations and you're too hard on them for not meeting them all the time, like the retention is going to be trash. Like you need to be somewhat understanding of the fact that they have, well, not somewhat, you need to be understanding of the fact that they have lives outside of what they do, and that they're doing the server a favor, or like a service, like by giving their precious time to the community. So, and in terms of demotions, it really depends. Like there's no process or like secret formula that we have to like determine if we're going to be demoting anyone, at least for activity reasons. It really depends on their situation. Like if something tragic happened in their lives and they need a little bit of extra time to deal with it, like that, obviously we're not going to demote them for being inactive for that reason. So it really, really, really depends. And their activity in the past and their behavior are all things that get factored into.
And I'd also like to add, under Dole specifically, and I'm pretty sure most mentors do this, but quotas and goals are super like personalized, and they and it's not like we just slap some numbers together and be like, okay, everybody's got to do this. Like it's like super like, for example, if someone is a lot better at their in-game time compared to they're like not a huge fan of the forums, and they're maybe like they're on reports patrol, they're on a bunch of sub teams that are like, you do things in game more, you're like really like more on that side, your forums quota probably won't be very high at all, because it's just not the area that you like excel in. It's not your favorite area, and we like look into that. We take that into like huge account. It's personalized for everybody, except for the only like time it's not really personalized is when you're like first a trainee and you're like getting used to it and learning all the aspects. But we make sure that like it's not gonna be like, oh, you don't like the forums, you're not very good at the forums, you don't feel like you thrive there, too bad, do 700 posts. Like we really listen, and everything is like personalizable, and you like really can like kind of choose your own adventure with it.
The next question is towards me. How close do you work with recruitment? There's not too much we work together with, honestly. They bring new staff into the fold, and then like we train them from there. Islin and I have a good working relationship though, and whenever something does happen and I need him to hold off like for a week or something for attorney as he does, he also keeps me informed about like why there haven't been acceptances the last like 2-3 weeks or whatever and whatnot. Yeah, we work fine together, I guess. The next question is for everyone. How is your time as staff, and what are your goals as for your time as staff? Um, I've pretty much achieved all of my goals already, I think. Yeah. And then, I never really had a goal to become an admin, but here I am, and we're living it up, I guess. Harry?
Yeah, I'm just gonna once again reiterate what Toki said, and I pretty much achieved most, if not all, my goals. I didn't think I'd be a mentor once I first joined the team, but here I am now. I've also joined RC, which I wasn't really aiming for when I first joined the team, but I ended up getting it, so that's great.
Okay. So as for like how my time has been, um, so last month I actually hit 1 year back on the team, and I think one of my main goals was at the beginning was just to like kind of redeem myself because the way I left the team the first time was not ideal, and I think I really like proven that change and growth, and that was really important to me. Um, and also, I was looking at the acceptance thread last month, and I saw I had forgotten what I had written as the teams that I was interested in joining for that, and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, I put that I wanted to join social media and become an MA, and I did both of those things, so that's like super great, and I'm really happy with that. And then I guess my current goals would want to be I guess better MA, more contact with my mentees, and just kind of like and all the stuff that's like more like private side of being an MA. That's like there's less public details. I guess I definitely want to like improve in that sense, in that like aspect as well. But my other real main goal is I want to like kind of I guess in a way like and like I get this is really open, but like make kind of like a change and make like a significant like difference to the community in like a sense of like there's a lot of like discussions that happen on the staff side, and there's like ways for us to like give our opinions and like kind of like change things in that sense. And one that was really important to me recently-ish, not recently anymore, was I run the LGBT com, and the unfiltering of LGBT was really important to me. It's like those kind of like small differences that like create like a more like inclusive and like just like happier, like better community like that are the kind that are like my goals. So it's not necessarily like a team thing, but yeah.
Brian?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I
Yeah, so how's your time as a staff member, and what are your goals for your time as a staff member?
Okay. So my time as a staff member has been really good. I've been able to work with a lot of amazing people over the last almost 5 years. And every day it's something new to deal with, so always something exciting. As far as my goals, I mean, I think I've achieved a lot of the goals that I had. But I guess I just want to continue, being there for my mentees, having fun with everyone, doing what I can to help the server and to help the staff team. But yeah, I think I've pretty much hit all my like specific measurable goals.
I would say my time on the staff team has been exquisite. I am very lucky and fortunate to be in the position that I am in. I'm very lucky and fortunate to have an amazing group of mentees who are hardworking and dedicated and very, very kind. They're essentially like my family. And so I've been very lucky to be working with each and every one of them. Also very, very lucky to have gotten to know Lookdan and Twist a lot. Throughout this pandemic, they've literally been my rock, my backbone. Whenever we have a rough day, we always go to each other and rant and vent, and it's just such a great group of people. So very lucky to have them. In terms of my goals, I think I've achieved most of the goals that I had coming onto the staff team, like being a good peer-to-peer resource, getting on staff management again, and having maybe a managerial position on STM. But I think the one goal that I still have yet to achieve is to automate everything on STM in a utopian society. So I still have lots of things on my plate that I want to do, and hopefully, this year we can kind of knock a few more things and have them be automated. So that's my goal. But great time on the staff team so far.
Brad?
I'd say for the both times that I've been on the staff team, I've really, really enjoyed my time here. I've had my ups and downs, but for the majority of the time, I've really enjoyed meeting new people and just generally working as a staff member. And for goals, I'd say I would like to get mentor again. I really enjoyed that in the past, and it definitely would be nice. Just work as hard as I can as an assistant as well as a forums team member. Just make a difference in the community. That was one of the reasons I joined the staff team. So I would definitely like to make, even if it's small, I'd like to make a difference.
All right, the next couple of questions are towards me. What does cheese mean to you? Well, I assume this question is because I always say Gouda in place of good. Cheese is Nami, and some of my favorites are Swiss pepper jack and Gouda, of course. The next one is, are you proud of what you've done to staff management? What are you most proud of? I am proud of what me, the managers, and the members of the team have accomplished. Yeah. I'm most proud of how we're able to like share our experiences more and innovate our systems together as a team more. It's a big improvement and a far cry from how like ModCord used to be like 4 or 5 years ago. Um, they kind of just all did their own thing without really helping each other, but we have more of a like community feel between the mentors now. All right, this next one is for everyone. Oh, and it's that question. Okay. Why does it seem like the quality of staff members in general has decreased significantly from the prime years of Mineplex? Many current staff members are not qualified. There's a part of this question that I didn't read out loud because it got kind of offensive, but I'm assuming this person's someone who played in 2014, 2015, then stopped and only played like the last year or so. Um, the server underwent a ton of changes while you were away, and that includes like recruitment. Our process is a lot better than it was, and anyone who's been on the staff team for that long would agree. Um, Especially if you're able to like see the back end of everything. And that's pretty much what I have to say. If anyone has anything different to add.
In my experiences, I was on the staff team in 2015 as a trainee management, c'est quoi, trainee mentor, ben, je ne sais pas. But I can tell you from somebody who was staff then and someone who's staff now, it's 1,000 times better. And I'm not saying that because my boss is here. I'm not saying that because we're in a Q&A, but this is just the honest truth. Like the processes are more standardized. There's more of an enforcement mechanism in place. Because we are able to have a more close connection with our mentees, we've been able to mitigate some like issues and have positive outcomes from those issues. So in general, it's just a complete 180, and I have to really agree with Toki on this one. So from my own personal experience, complete change, night and day, much better than when it was before.
Yeah, and something else too. I mean, if the person who asked that question is listening, if you could maybe contact us and let us know the issues that you were having with any individuals, then that would be very helpful to us as mentors, because we can't be, we can't always be monitoring everyone 100% of the time. So if there are any issues or anything that happens, like we aren't always there to necessarily see it. So if you could like come forward to one of us and talk to us about it, that would be helpful too.
I'd also like to say, as someone who was staff in like 2017 for the first time, Ayo, shout out to Sleepy Batch, me and Harry vibing. But I think that at least staff side, like you're saying, the process is so much smoother. Because I remember in 2017, as a trainee, I definitely felt like lost a lot of the time, and I didn't necessarily feel like comfortable like reaching out to my trainee mentor, and there was a lot. I feel like it was just like a lot more like confusing. There was less like openness with the team, less communication like between just like average team members like who aren't even on like any like special teams, like helping each other out. And I feel like that's something that we do definitely have now. And I think a lot of perhaps someone feeling like staff members aren't is definitely like individual issues. And I think the best thing you can do is one, gather evidence and submit to mineplex.com/support as that's the place to report staff members if you feel that they have violated any of the policies. But also one, you can apply for the staff team and try to like improve from the inside. I think is like a great way if you feel there is something wrong. And also um use like use your power as a community member to like respectfully and politely bring up what you feel like. If there's a policy that the staff team has that you feel is like not beneficial, politely respectfully like post on the forums and be like, I think this policy could be changed into this, and it will definitely be like looked at and considered.
All right. Our next question is for everyone. Does your job get boring at some point? Like with any job, yeah, sometimes, but I just find something to spice it up, whether it be like moderating a new game or interacting with other people or something. Harry?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, what was it? All right. I feel like boring's not the right word to say. I always feel. Sometimes I feel kind of demotivated, but I haven't really been kind of bored of anything yet. Yeah.
Leafy?
I think like the really good thing about the team is there are so many sub team options and team options to pursue. So if you are feeling burnt out, there are a lot of options for change. And there are so many totally understanding mentors and team leads who are so understanding and super cool if you need to like take leave for a bit, especially like you have like your exams, like, or even you're just like feeling really burnt out. No one's gonna blink and be like, oh, I need to like take a week off. I need to, you know. And with all the sub teams, it really is like a little choose your own adventure. So if you do begin to feel bored, you can switch it up, or like I choose to do, join teams that you're super passionate about and you don't get bored on, as well as like keeping on like community side teams like MTT and things, MTT High Squad, where like it's kind of like a relaxed, different environment on a lot of them, in which like it helps like having those connections with all those lovely people. Like I feel like it's kind of hard to get bored at that point because there's so many options and stuff.
Yeah, I would also agree that I wouldn't say bored. I mean, certain things are repetitive, and I think everyone has certain tasks that they prefer over others. But I'm a pretty busy person, like outside of Mineplex. So I'm usually like after I'm done everything, like whether it be school or coming back from work or like coming back from my friends, like usually I'm excited to just kind of hunker down and do some of like my Mineplex related work. Um, but yeah, that's probably what I'd have to say about it.
Not really. Um, it's for me a lot of the time whenever I do feel bored or something, I am getting too comfortable in my position, I'll find a new project to undertake. Like that's kind of the source of all the automation that's come on STM is kind of just me being bored and wanting to learn a new skill, or asking myself, well, what if we can do this on Google Sheets, or what if we can do this through, Zapier or Intergomical or another automation, platform. So I always ask questions about what we can do better. You know, Trying to turn ideas into reality, and that keeps me pretty busy. If I ever feel bored on STM, and like Brian, I'm extremely busy myself. So it is a nice change up in my day to be able to come online and bring it back down to a more personal level with my mentees and doing STM work.
Brown?
I'm gonna have to agree with what was said. I wouldn't call any part of it boring. I mean, yeah, some tasks do get a little repetitive, and I will admit there are some aspects of MA that I do enjoy over others. But in general, I wouldn't call it boring. And especially, do have to agree with what Ryan said. I am pretty busy outside of Mineplex, especially this month. I'm graduating high school. I have tennis practice. Like, I have a lot going on. AP exams. Like, it's very, very stressful. So I definitely consider working Mineplex to be sort of an escape. So I wouldn't call it boring.
All right, this next question is in part for me and then in part for everyone. Why is Toki always online on Discord? I see Toki online day, night, and midnight. I just leave my PC on. Like, it's on all the time unless it restarts for an update or the power goes out or something. The question for all of us is, what is the first step taken by STM if a staff member breaks the rules or abuses their power? Most of the time, it's just like making sure to gather all the evidence, all the facts, and then deciding what to do with it. If anyone has anything different.
I don't really have anything to add beyond what you said, but that really is the first step to understanding exactly what it is that happened and making sure that there is sufficient proof to ensure that it happened. That really is the first step.
Yep. So this was kind of answered earlier. I don't know if we want to answer it again. I mean,
No.
Yeah, we already answered that one.
all right. The next one is for me and Harry. Have you felt like communication between staff and upper management has improved over the last few years? If it has, are there measurable indicators that you guys are interested in keeping an eye on to help improve it further? If by upper management you mean like admins and staff, you mean like mods, then yeah. It has improved drastically. When I was a mod back myself, the idea of messaging an admin was a joke at the best. I wouldn't really be expected to receive a response. It would have been rare. Not to say that they didn't work hard, they just weren't very approachable. Nowadays, I feel like most of us admins are more open to DMs and more available and approachable. All we can really do is keep doing that, pretty much. Harry?
Yeah, I agree with all that so far.
Anyone have anything else?
Maybe. I mean, so there's the discussion of admins, but there's also discussions of like leaders and owners. Maybe not are as approachable. Like if I were to send, someone an owner an email or a message, I may not expect to get an email, and that's just been my personal response, like my personal experience. But with the leadership, who like especially Dean, like the HOS, who's basically a really good liaison between the staff team and the owners. Whenever I'd had an issue that I really wanted to talk to him about, he's been really approachable, and even when he's busy, he'd always find time to chat. So that would have been unheard of in 2015 from my personal experience. So definitely has gotten a lot better.
All right, this next question is pretty easy. It's for everyone. Is Twister Rat? Yes, most definitely.
As someone who met her in real life, yes, I can confirm.
Oh yeah, this is about Twist. Yeah,
I did see a tail
Seriously.
when I met her.
yeah. She hides it pretty well. We'll give her that, but it's there.
All right, this next question is for all. Are we looking to expand the team? Lack of trainees. I mean, apps are always open at apply.mineplex.com. That's pretty much all we can do is wait for people to apply and then go through the recruitment process. Right. The next question is, are you looking to increase incentives / rewards for staff that put a lot of time in? A lot of the incentives for like moderating should come from like an internal place, like feeling good about doing so. However, we do like appreciate everyone who spends their, free time moderating and doing what they can do to make the community a better place. And their supervisors do make sure, like, to the best of their effort, that they know that. Does anyone have anything different?
With mentee part, like, I mean, a lot of the mentors will have mentee parties, and even, internally we have staff appreciation events, and we have staff-wide parties. And although we can't pay, like, physically show our appreciation to our mentees and to our staff members across the network through like monetary means, we do try to provide circumstances where they're able to kind of relax, take a break, and feel as though they're part of a community, and thank them for the work that they do. So it may not be apparent all the time, but I mean, for any staff who are listening, your work is always appreciated. And even if it's not, always like what told to you. Uh, Anyways, so just know that your work is always appreciated, no matter if you're a trainee, a mod, senior mod, admin, HOS. Everybody is part of a well-oiled machine.
And I think that personally, though like incentivizing it in that way, like was said, should definitely come like more like internally, like motivation. I do think that we as a team do like make an effort to provide a lot of like opportunities for like more fun, like chill things to go on. Namely, there's things like staff appreciation, there's events, there's like staff versus community events are great because they like, everybody gets together. Things like the Oscars are really big. I love like a bunch of staff love that. And the community too, obviously. But there are staff wide events where we'll like all get together, do some fun things, like maybe like a staff UHC or just, all of those sorts of things. And like in addition to mentee parties and everything. So I think there are like a lot of I guess like ways that we get shown like how much we are appreciated. And I mean, I think that it's definitely like it's not like, oh, we're just little workers slaving away. Like we do what we do because we love it, and we do get the opportunity to have a lot of like fun, relaxing things that are in addition to it.
All right. The next question is, are there any plans to encourage the community to respect the staff more, either punishments for harassment or just general positive reinforcement? Uh, so we can't really force people to respect other people. Um, it's definitely disappointing that they don't treat staff members with, a higher level of respect. Um, and that stems from them not being able to see everything that they do, um, which is kind of sad. But if they're disrespectful, they're punished properly, and that's all that can really happen. Does anyone have anything?
Me, kind of. I do be talking a lot. Sorry, I'm a Leo. C'est la vie. But I think that for that sort of respect, there's kind of like, I guess, two types of disrespect that there is, and that's like disrespect from people who aren't really engaged with the community in a sense, don't who aren't in, say, like any of our various discords, who aren't like huge members of the community, who don't really, they're not in like any comms or staff posts or anything. They don't play many games. They're just low level. They come on and they, you know, feel like, oh, I'm just gonna be mean, do a little bit of trolling because I can, and they're often have disrespect. And then there's disrespect from people who are like actively in the community, which I feel like comes in like very different ways. And I don't think that disrespect from people who aren't really members of the community, who just like come in with the purpose of being a troll, of being rude, I don't think that's necessarily something that can be changed all that much, because they're pretty much equally disrespectful to the staff and people who just are like there to play if they're like talking a lot. So they're just kind of there to have a negative attitude, to send up bad vibes. So that's not really something that can be changed. But as for from like active members of the community, if there's disrespect, I think that could be potentially like a wider issue, in which finding a direct plan of combating is difficult. But I feel like it would have to involve like people who are active members of the community. Obviously, like they love Mineplex, or else they would not play anymore. So if they're being disrespectful, there's like some sort of like way that they feel like they're not being listened to in their community that they love. So I guess the only real way to combat it, I think, would be just to try to listen to them and try to help encourage them to like find more positive attitudes and listen to what they feel like, why they feel like they're not being listened to when they're being respectful, and try to create a better avenue for them to like be positive and be listened to as a community member. Yeah.
One thing I did want to add on is that I get everyone's passionate about their community and stuff, but I just want to like what's words? Okay, I can't say it. Heck. I just want to like kind of echo back that mods have no say in the developmental direction of the server whatsoever. So like if you're being disrespectful to mods over, I don't know, Castle Siege being removed, that's just the wrong outlet. They have nothing to do with that, and it's kind of sucks to sit there and be told that you're the cause of everything when you had no say in anything. So maybe just think about that next time. Ralphie's not here, so we'll skip that. The next one, are there any plans to make the Java and Bedrock team feel closer or more like one? So we switched from Slack to Discord for our internal staff communication, and I feel like that's already done a great deal towards that. There's not a whole lot we can do other than, you know, like staff events where we get to play with each other and whatnot. We can't really force the teams to feel like one. It has to come from both sides of like Java mods and then Bedrock mods. And then we also have the cross-platforming, which is new. So hopefully more Java mods will be going over to Bedrock, Bedrock mods over to Java, and just like being connected. Anyone have anything different?
I would like, well, I'd say more to reiterate like one of the points you made, Toki. I think from what I've done personally is try to find ways like with Mentee parties and stuff like that, to be able to involve more people. Like I know in the past I've generally had things like you know, we would play in an MES, or you know, mainly stuff that involved Java where not everyone could be involved. But we have been trying to do things where people like where everyone could be involved. So doing things like Among Us is a good example. Last night we played Jackbox, and that was really fun, and it worked out really well. So there's things that we can do just to try and get more people to be involved. But obviously, like you said, Toki, it has to be from both sides. Like we can't force anyone necessarily to become closer. But there are certain things that are in our control that we can, you know, try and get people to be interacting more from both sides. But there's always going to be that natural kind of separation because they are two different platforms. But one thing I've also been doing is I've been just doing like casual like chat, like going in voice calls and people just joining me chat for the night, like just little things like that that we have control over.
All right, I think this next one we kind of already answered.
Mhm.
Then this one is, what do you do at staff events? What have been some of your favorite staff events? So like Ryan just mentioned, he did Among Us and Jackbox. Each mentor like throws their own mentee parties and plays games, watches movies, just chats and voice channels. The more official events are like from Marzi and the staff events team, and they like put together, I don't know, tournaments sometimes, or like just custom maps that we can play. I haven't run a staff event for a while. If anyone has anything different to add.
So my mentee group is based on Harry Potter, because I'm a Potter nerd. And there was this Minecraft map that is like the entire world of Harry Potter, and like you have a wand, you can learn spells. It's like completely Harry Potter on Minecraft, and that was a really fun mentee party that I hosted, and would definitely recommend it to anybody who's interested in Harry Potter and Minecraft.
It says one of the parts is what have been some of our favorite staff events. I'm just gonna talk about one specifically that's me, because 2017's Halloween. Yeah, I think yes, 2017's Halloween staff event. Absolute banger. Simply because we were on teams, and there were like zombies, maybe witches or ghosts. I know there were zombies, and I was on skeletons. And what part of it was the team that had like the best skins we were gonna get like a prize within it, and I made skins for everyone on the skeletons. We had cute little colorful skeleton onesies, and we won that. Was super fun, was super great. Enough said. Great event.
Next one, what are some of the differences between a Bedrock trainee trial and a Java trainee trial? I feel like I've been talking a lot, so how about you start?
All right. So for this one, I will say that in a Java trial, there's a lot more information to learn than a Bedrock trial. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot more unique game modes that you need to gain some experience with, as opposed to Bedrock. I guess I'll say that much. And yeah, that's all.
Right, Luffy?
Oh, I'm lagging. 1 second. Okay. I think that where it's differences right now between Bedrock and trainee and Java trainee, right? Yeah. I think the biggest difference is just that there's like, well, I think it's hard. The differences are more notable when you're cross-platforming, definitely. But just like flat out, the greatest difference is the different game modes where rules are different. For example, clans rule set, which isn't necessary for a trainee to moderate, but if they have an interest in clans, they probably will at least try to get some experience, especially if they're looking to join CMA later. That sort of moderation is super different than things like creative housing moderation, which is something that we don't have on Java, but I would say, in my opinion, does require a good deal of moderation on Bedrock. And so it's just those key platform differences, as well as little nuances like how the shop in Bedrock is built into the platform as opposed to on Java. It is on our website, that kind of stuff. Also the community is very different, I will say. Less active in chat on Bedrock for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think it's been pretty much covered that there are platform differences, which I think subsequently leads to, like, at least from an outsider perspective, a different experience for Bedrock trainees compared to Java. Mainly because I find Bedrock is a lot calmer. There's a lot less. You'll deal with a lot less. So I think that's definitely one of the biggest differences. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, and just to add, I think in terms of the structure of the trial, it's fairly similar. Like, it's 9 weeks. You have, your MOT and EOT. So the structure itself is different, or it is the same, or at least very similar. But the content is obviously much different.
Yeah, I don't want to reiterate what anyone else said, so it's basically what they said.
Oh no. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, I was PvPing. All right. Where were we? I've answered this once before, but wanted to come at me a second time. Will I ever consider letting my senior mods join 2 senior mod teams at once? Short answer, no. Long answer, we have too big of a workload to allow for that. Mentees need to be able to rely on their mentor at any time, and if a mentor is too busy, like with work from another senior mod team, it's just not really possible. This one is for Ryan. Dole, basically every mentor. Is there someone on the team that you bond with the most?
It's hard to say. I mean, obviously, as Sven said, me, Sven, and Twist have become super close friends. We've met up IRL. Sven and I quite a few times. Alicia and I twice. So we're obviously very close. I've also become very close with my 2 assistants. We have a lovely group chat going where sometimes we'll be chatting in there until 3 o'clock in the morning about whatever. I've become close to mentees, people I work with. So I wouldn't say there's like any individual in particular, but definitely I've become close with a lot of individual people and a lot of groups of people.
Yeah. Uh, so obviously Ryan and Twist, but also my mentees and my MAs. I feel like for Umbreon, I remember Umbreon and I think we were watching a hacker on Twitch. He was like streaming hacking on Mineplex, and so we both got into a call, and we're just like, we're just gonna keep following this guy and keep banning him. So we had those experiences, and with Raven, we were just extremely close from the get-go because she was my first kind of. She was like the MA before Umbreon came, so we got to work together really closely a lot. So definitely some of the senior mods on the team, and definitely like my mentees are all amazing, and my MAs as well.
All right, Harry.
All right, so I guess the one person I've bonded with the most is Luffy. She's right here because she's my batch buddy, and we've been together from the get-go. Even though there was a period of time where she wasn't on the staff team, we've still been kind of close before. We've still been kind of close all along.
Ryan, could you check DMs real quick?
Did any of you guys want to answer the question? Who have you become closest with, or who have you bonded with the most on the team?
Us
Sure.
or-
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you go.
Okay, sorry. I would say I bonded a lot with my mentees. Yeah. No one in particular really. With the staff with MA/STM, I've bonded really, really well with Ravenpaw. She's not here, but I'd probably consider her probably one of my best friends. We've been really, really close ever since we got trainee together. I've also bonded with Sven, obviously, because I work with him, and Husky too, but he is no longer here. But yeah, that's just a quick rundown.
For me, obviously, like Harry said, we were batchies back in 2017. We are batchies. I have 2 batches, but you know, Sleepy Batch Gang. And that was like kind of like, I mean, Sleepy Batch was ballin', and we haven't really lost that. I trust Harry a lot. I think I could praise Harry for quite a while on just his absolute dedication and like kindness and knowledge and everything. Like he's so committed and he works so hard, and I just respect him so much. And we really have bonded. Great dude. Um, as for off of STM and MA, or actually no, I will say Dole also as her MA. Um, she is a Taurus, and you know Tauruses, but no, I love her. She's great. I think our sleep schedules don't align, so I would like to definitely be more bonded, but I definitely think she's I'm like second closest to within STM, and I have a lot of respect for her as well, especially because she was my mentor, um, both while I was trainee in 2020 and while I was mod then, but also I will confess in 2018 she was on Modcord. I believe I was when she was like promoted. I was in her like first group, and I think that I was not a very good mentee. I don't think I was like the mentee she deserved, kind of in a way. And I think she did like a lot for me when I was like not a good staff member, and eventually I had to leave the team because of that. And so I appreciate her a lot, and her like kindness and understanding really like led to request to be her mentee again, and I have a lot of respect for her. Um and as for not on STM, I think there are tons of people on the staff team who I've gotten close to. Dave is a baddie. He is a king. He's just I have never met someone who does not like Dave. And if you don't like Dave, we throw in hands, I guess. Because he's just a sweetheart, heart of gold, lovely dude, lives near me. We're gonna go to an amusement park when we are vaccinated together. So exciting. Um, as well as there are a lot of people, Block to Block, who has requested that I state that we need to all return to Monkey. I think reject humanity, return to Monkey, and just a lot of people. I think the staff team, like Fam in chat right now, a sweetheart. I think there are so many people on staff team that there's like it's hard not to bond with people because there are just so many lovely people. And also mentees and everything. I could mention everyone, and I'm really rambly. My ADHD meds have clearly not kicked in this morning. But just everybody. And MTT.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. The next question that we were asked is for everyone. What is your mentoring style like? Harry, if you want to start.
There we go. Just had to unmute real quick. I'm more of a laid back mentor that likes to see their mentees be more independent on the team, but of course, I offer them as much guidance as they need. To start off, I usually start with pretty basic requirements, but after a while, I allow my mentees to sort of decide what they feel comfortable doing and kind of choose their own quotas, like other mentors are doing, quotas or goals. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Luffy, do you want to give some insight on how you deal with things?
I think that for Dole's mentees, it's definitely there's a pretty big focus on just like letting the mentees themselves kind of set their own quotas. And, like I mentioned earlier, like if someone loves the forums, they're probably gonna have like higher expectations for forums because they love it. And they're gonna maybe have less in like in-game time, like kind of like just letting people figure out what works best for them and allowing them to like kind of guide their own kind of like journey, as well as just trying to, especially for me as an MA, one of my main goals is I want to be able to have like a more open, especially with mods who are out of focus mentoring. I really want to like try to foster maybe a greater like communication with me as an MA and them, but just like having like open communication, just like allowing people to kind of choose their own thing is generally what it's like over with the Ducks.
Right on. I'd say for me, I'm definitely pretty casual. Sometimes more hands-on, especially with trainees, and I like to keep looking at ways I can modify the things I do. Keep things fresh, keep things up to date, relevant. But definitely, I like casual interaction. Like honestly, like I'm a pretty casual person. I like to chat. So definitely like that. And with my mods, definitely I like to let them be free. I let them pick their quotas within like certain prescribed parameters. But yeah, I just like to let them be individual, but I also like to be there when they need me, stuff like that. Yeah. Sven?
I'm definitely more strict, more structured. Like strict as in like not boot camp, it's not training boot camp. But I'm not afraid to be serious and strict when I need to be. I'm kind of like a no BS type of mentor. I support you. I do encourage you to be independent and to grow independently, but I'm always here if you need me. But yeah, just something. I am casual at times, but I can also be strict when I need to be.
All right. So the next question we have is for Harry. As a newer full staff management mentor, how was the switch from MA to STM for you personally?
Personally, I don't think it was too bad. The only thing that I was really uncertain about was that I was starting school in a few weeks at the time of my promotion. It took a bit of time to get used to the new mentoring group that I was going to be working with, but overall, it's been pretty nice working with all of them. And now that I've had the chance to mentor people from the start of their trial up until now, it's been even nicer to get to really know them.
All right. This next question is for everyone. As a mentor, what is the end goal for your mentees? When do you know your mentee has moved on to the next stage? Harry?
Oops. There we go. I'd say I want my mentees to achieve whatever they would like to. Like, whether that means being on a senior mod team or achieving something else within the staff team or so on and so forth. It really depends on each of the mentees what I hope to see them achieve. And then as for moving on to the next step, it really depends, like I just said.
Luffy, do you want to answer?
Yes, sir. My Gemini rising will never allow me to not answer anything ever because, you know. But yeah, the end goal for mentees is really their goal. They whatever they want to achieve on the team is what is like the best thing to try to, you know, help them achieve. If they really want to be on forum management, then and they discuss that, then when they start their like focus mentoring period, for example, it's probably gonna be like, oh, like you have this as a goal. I noted like you like discuss this. So like how like would you? I'm assuming you would like a higher forums quota, or when they're or if they mention it even like while they're a trainee, we can go and like look at like give them some feedback on their like forums posts that maybe help them become higher quality if that's something they're interested in. If they're interested in becoming a cross-platform staff member, we have like the whole system set up for them to go through that. It's whatever they really want to do. We very regularly, pretty much at every meeting we ask that we have with them, we ask what what their goals are, or what teams they're interested, what they like want to do, and there is no like set goal or stage for them outside of like from the end of trainee to becoming a mod, from the end of focus mentor as a moderator. That at that point it's like whatever they feel like they want to do or want to learn or want to try to be successful in. Our job isn't to try to be like, well, you should do this. It's to listen to that and try to do everything we can to help them achieve that. Yeah.
Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's what the other two have said. Ultimately, their end goal is something that is very personal to them, and I want to make it. You know, I want to be able to assist them in reaching whatever that end goal is. And yeah,
Ben?
In addition to that, I mean, so there's the goal aspect to it, which I completely agree with as well, but there's also the ability to develop key skills. I feel like there's a lot to, like, as mentors, we don't just cater to their goals, but we also prepare them for other things. Like if they want to go for a senior mod team, then we could help them prepare for that. But also just some of the key transferable skills that you can acquire as being a part of the staff team, developing those skills so that you can use a lot of these skills for your personal lives as well. I mean, I can safely say that writing an application for various teams throughout the years has really allowed me to improve my application writing skills for jobs in my personal life, and to really understand the value of putting in detail in your app, not lying on your app. All these things that the recruitment team, for example, looks for are things that a lot of hiring managers in personal and professional workplaces look for as well. So it is the goals piece, yes, but I think it's also developing the skills that can really be transferable in our personal lives.
Brian?
I would have to agree with everything Sven said and everyone else. I don't really have anything else to add from there.
All right. The next question is, why did you want to become a mentor or MA? Harry?
All right. So at first, I wasn't actually planning on becoming a mentor or an MA, but then last year, Dole invited me to become an MA, and I've loved the work ever since. To be honest, I'd consider that probably, I mean, it was accepting the invite the best decision I've ever made to this to this day, because if I hadn't, and then I wouldn't know what I would have done, because the pandemic was just about to hit. And so yeah, and at this point been I've been really enjoying everything I've done on the team, and that the team as a whole has done. So yeah.
Luffy?
So for me, there were kind of 2.5 maybe primary reasons that I just become an MA, and a huge one was I was inspired by my mentor, who was Dole, because as I mentioned earlier, she did a lot for me, and I was really appreciative of everything, um, and all her hard work, both my first time on the team and when I returned. And that was a huge inspiration for me, which is why I was really, really happy to get the opportunity to be her MA. But also, when I was first on the team in 2017, I the like mod core training management program were a lot like less developed than they are now, like by far. And I definitely felt like I at that time in 2017 didn't necessarily like have the support that I needed to really do well. On my MOT test, I didn't do well at all. I did poorly, and I just felt like I never really communicated with my trainee mentor and my TMA, and it was just like it was a really tough experience for me, and I had to work really hard at the after the MOT to like improve myself, and it was a lot of like working on my own because I didn't really feel supported. And that compared to the experience I had under Dole was like it was so different, and it really just like inspired me to want to be able to like kind of make that difference that like the person who is your mentor, is your MA, can do to like have that total like absolute like change in between what that experience was. And additionally, I also really enjoyed, especially as I was when I was a trainee this go, and um also after with one of my friends who was in a batch in her batch that I became close with. Also, that was Dave's batch. Let's go. Um, I really enjoyed like I made a bunch of cahoots, and because I had more experience than the rest of my batch, it was really important to me. I was like, I want to do everything I can to make this batch like one feel like cohesive and like talk with each other. And because badges can kind of go one way or the other depending on how much you talk to each other, and like also just like really like help each other out, since I do have like experience from previously being on the team. And that experience really like made me realize like just how much I enjoyed that. And I was wow, I want to kind of like lean into that more and be able to help people in that way more, and being an MA is perfect for that.
Ryan?
Yeah, so I initially, what made me want to become a mentor was I think I was inspired by how my trainee trial went, because my mentor and my assistant were extremely helpful for me, getting me used to the position, teaching me a lot of the things that I needed to know, and I like dealing with people, so that's mainly what inspired me to become a trainee mentor. Um, and yeah, I really like to connect with people. I like to help people on a more personal level, which I felt was which is why I felt becoming a mentor was one of the best ways.
Sven?
Well, when I first became a trainee and was under Look Dan's wing, I remember one of the very first things that he asked me for my goal is to bring back trainee boot camp. And I still am trying to this day to do it. And hopefully, as time goes on, I can chip away at Toki's, unwillingness to bring it back. But hopefully, as time goes on, we can chip away at it and we can bring back trainee boot camp bigger and better than it ever has been before. So that's my answer.
That was a mistake. Umbreon.
Yeah, so I decided to become an MA and I guess mentor for previously, simply because interacting with mentees, helping them achieve their goals is something that I derive a lot of pleasure from. I'd say I think I answered this in a previous question, but I'd say my favorite part is seeing them achieve their goals. I know that this is something that staff members have been wanting to become a staff member and to get on their sub teams, and I just feel like being able to help them do that, be supportive of them, is just something that I really enjoy, and definitely something I would not give up. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I became an MA.
All right. This next question is pretty much for everyone. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Yes, it belongs.
Yes.
It's a Canadian invention, so yes.
Absolutely not.
I'm about to sprinkle some controversy in here. Pineapple can go or can't go on pizza as long as that pizza is not getting eaten by me, because I think pizza tastes bad. Like,
Oh.
it's just not, it just doesn't, I just don't enjoy eating pizza. It doesn't taste good. It's like greasy. I don't eat cheese. There's nothing about pizza that really drives me to it. At most, what I would maybe consider is like maybe once like just a cheeseless pizza with nothing on, or like maybe like a vegetable or two, but pizza, I've never liked it. I don't think I ever will.
Wow.
That's true. That's true. Zach, I don't like pizza because, which one should I choose? Because I'm a Sagittarius Mars. That's why.
Okay. This next question is for everyone. How many apps did it take for you to get accepted? For the general staff team, I just submitted one app and was accepted. Everyone else?
1.
4.
10.
I was recruited before I had the chance to submit an app.
Look at you.
Bougie gal.
But for me, the first time I think I submitted 4. And the second time that when I returned to the team, it was just 1.
There's another question. It's for Dole. I guess maybe Ryan can answer in her place.
Sure.
What makes someone a good MA?
I think what makes someone a good MA is what makes them a good mentor. It's someone who can manage their time effectively, because that is a very important aspect, since there is a lot of work to go around, all on, that all have an important timing associated with it, meaning that certain tasks need to get done for others to get done. So that's why the time management is really important. It's someone who is approachable, someone who's willing to answer questions, someone who likes to interact, and yeah, just someone who's really, really devoted to the position, because that is what it takes to to do well and to be promoted in the end.
Yep. This next question is for you and me. Is the position of trials manager going to be given to someone else now that you're mentoring manager? Perhaps, maybe. Time will tell. Anything
Yeah,
else?
that's no, that's
These next two are for me. When did you first start to be an admin on Mineplex? September 2nd, 2018, I think. Maybe the 3rd. I don't remember exactly. What would you say is the hardest part of your job? Definitely demoting people. It's very gut wrenching and sad. Just to like just make it so nobody so the person's no longer on the staff team. It's just sad. I hate it. Be good beans. I don't want you demoted. This next one's for everyone. If Mineplex never existed, where would you be right now? Good question. I have no idea.
Probably
Probably-
still sitting here because of the pandemic.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure where I would be, but I'd probably be doing something.
Probably still be playing games, honestly. Just different servers.
I would, yeah, playing some videos. Maybe the one thing is that I wouldn't be going to the amusement park later this summer with Dave, and that's quite sad. Because he would just be vibing like 20 minutes away from me, 30 minutes away from me as he is right now. With us never like potentially driving our cars past each other in like the city on the big highways, just never knowing. That would be heartbreaking.
Probably everything that I've been doing now. Like, I don't think it would have changed very much because Mineplex is just a hobby. It's not really a big part of my life. Because I have a lot of other things going on that I put more emphasis in that kind of impact my future a bit more. But so probably everything that I'm doing now. Not really much of a like, wow, yeah. But anyways, that's me.
Anyone have anything different? All right. This next question is for Sven. Would you ever be open to allowing non-STM or MA staff to maintain the documents on the documents team?
I mean, okay, so at this point, not really, because there isn't much of a demand for it, because I think we're managing quite well with the members of the team that we have right now. So probably not in the next short while, but who knows what the future will bring. If there is a demand for it and a need for it, and we can't fill that need through members of STM and MA, then maybe question mark, but it's unlikely.
All right, this next question is for me. Do you plan on being admin of staff management years from now? It depends. If the server's still around, then yeah, probably, maybe. Who knows? Who knows what life will bring? I have no plans of leaving right now, if that's what they meant.
Can I quickly interject and say, Toki, Julie is here, but naturally cannot speak. So I just wanted you to know. Quickly let you know so that she can potentially get to speak.
Why can I not find them on the list? I hate this list thing. Can you find them, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you right click, you should be able to.
Should I just give her?
Yeah.
What am I giving her? Roles?
Speaker. And just right click and give her a speaker.
I'm so dumb.
I think Josh is also here too.
Why am I not seeing them? What the heck?
If you go to QnA chat, her name is there.
Yeah, but we need to see them in the like channel.
Oh.
Okay, Sven,
Yeah.
you can answer this while we're trying to figure that out. How does somebody who is MA STM join the docs teams? Are apps open for it, or do you choose new people when needed?
Yeah, great question. So all STM and MAs have access to a hub-like document that STM uses. There is a tab where people can kind of express their interest in either trials or the docs team. So if there are any STM members or MAs who are wanting to join the docs team, I would advise them to go to the hub document and express their interest by, I think it's like a blue color fill in the cell next to your name under the docs column. We accept mentors and MAs, so it's not just a mentor exclusive team, because we have Umbreon as a member. And with some of the work that's going to be done, if any MAs are interested in joining docs, I'd be more than happy to onboard them and see what we can do in terms of workload and what can be done. So yes.
All right, this next question is for you, Ryan. Can MAs join the trials management team? How would you choose which STM or MA join trials?
So that's a great question. As of right now, no. Mainly just because I don't want too many. I go by the concept of not wanting too many chefs in the kitchen. I haven't really had to choose a new member in a really long time because Ralphie has been with me since I took over the position of trials manager. But mainly my process would consist of looking at which members are interested and then just like, determining who I think would be the best fit in terms of, fulfilling the different tasks that I do. I do get MAs involved with certain things, like if we have to create new tests, which has happened because we wanted to have an extra test for Bedrock mods to take last year. We also found that we were having a need for more tests with mods on Java resigning and reinstating, and we didn't want to have them repeat tests that they've already taken. And then cross-platform, we introduced new tests as well. So whenever new tests were created, I get the MAs to take the tests and give their feedback just to make sure everything looks all good with them. But as of right now, no, there is no plans. Mainly just because I don't need new people. Considering the amount of people taking tests as of late is lower. So it would be my preference to keep it to staff management only for now.
All right, this next question is for me. What is the process for promoting MAs to STM? Does the amount of time spent as an MA play a big role? Could someone who got MA 7 months ago compared to someone who got it a year and a half ago have a better chance of getting STM? So time spent on the team definitely does help, but it's not the only thing we look for. We look for how you've used that time. Obviously, if you haven't been performing well, like 5 months out of your year on the team, that wouldn't do very well. Like when it comes to looking at a potential promotion, like when a spot opens up, compared to somebody who's been MA for 7 months and has spent that time doing incredible the entire time. It really just depends, honestly, on the experience you've gotten, how you've used it, your activity, your behavior, all that good stuff. This next one is for everyone, but it's pretty simple question. Uh, where is there ever going to be a change to what staff are allowed to say about release dates? For example, Gwen, anti-cheat updates, clans, seasons, releases, or simple bug fixes. The simple answer to that is staff don't get told before you guys do in most cases. And what they're told, they're not allowed to tell the public until it is public knowledge. So no. Does anyone have anything different to add?
No.
Nope.
Alrighty. Somebody asked towards me, Dolan Luffy, what do you guys do in order to make the trial experience and moderator experience for your mentees as fun as possible? I guess we could ask this to everyone. So starting with Harry.
All right, so I'm just going to give a general answer here. I usually try to ask my mentees how they're doing every now and then, just to make sure they're staying up to date with everything, or if they need anything. Especially if I don't hear from them all that much. Although with trainees, I usually hear from them on the daily. So, of course, if they need anything, I'm there to help them out with it. And right now what I'm looking into is to doing a more diverse array of mentee parties, just to kind of. Oh, somebody just messaged me something in game. So there we go. All right. So going back to that, I've been looking into doing a more diverse array of mentee parties because that's something I know that I can improve on. And then as as for experience, yeah, I just pretty much went over that. So
All right, Julie.
Well, in general, I just like to try to talk to people as much as I can, and I like to talk to them about how they're doing in general and what they want to do. Um, Something I'm still working on in general since I haven't been here as long as some people. So um, I kind of just go under the guide of Oscar to see how much I can do and how I can improve what I do and make things better for everyone through the tasks and all that.
All right, Luffy.
So for it to be like more like fun, I think one of the main things obviously is like mentee parties. And what I will say, the recent one that was a like multi-mentoring group one recently, where we did some very fun survival games in Zeke that I made some rules for, went great. Absolutely encourage playing NPS survival games hide and seek. It's a banger. Um, but I think as for what I do to try to make it more like fun, is definitely things like for example, one of my study tools that if people need help with like the MOT or EOT is I use Kahoot, and I think that can be like a very fun way to do it. Especially I'm like, oh, like if your batches want to come, if you want to use these with your badge, like I can share them with you so you can do them with your badge. Or like if multiple people want to come, like that's like super tight. Like so it's more like it can get like fun, like competitiveness of when they're like, answering the questions in like that gamey format. And I think it can be like both fun and really help them with like the learning because it adds that like extra element of investment. So that's what I personally do.
All right.
For like mentee parties in general, all that kind of stuff.
Things that I do to make it more fun. I mean, to make it more enjoyable experience, I try like to be different from the other responses. I think one thing that I try to do is I try to give a lot of encouragement. I try to recognize other areas beyond just their activity where, where they're succeeding. Because I think that's a really good form of encouragement and motivation, and definitely helps make it a more enjoyable experience being a staff member when you're being recognized for various contributions. But also, like the others have said, definitely mentee parties, trying to change things up, having more casual chat nights where they can talk to me, they can talk to other people. We can do various things. Oftentimes, I'll just throw on the jazz music in my Discord server, and it's just like a really relaxing place to hang out. I just feel like little things like that where you can interact and get to deal with everyone is one of the best ways I can make the experience enjoyable.
So for me, I do where everything that Ryan said is completely agree with. One thing that I do differently, or one thing I think is important, is to have a really cohesive and fun theme. For example, as I said before, my mentee group is Harry Potter themed, and so whenever a mentee gets accepted, my initial message to them on the forums is in the form of a Hogwarts letter of like acceptance. So just kind of doing those little things to kind of go along with the theme, making it fun, making it not as boring, can also play a huge role in improving the mentoring experience for our mentees.
Oh, okay. Hello, I'll go first before Josh because he doesn't know what to say. For my mentees, I kind of make sure to message them about things that aren't related to Mineplex to really get to know them better, like on a more personal level, because then I feel like they're more open to asking me questions and stuff like that. So I feel like that's how I make my mentee group more fun, because I'll actually, have conversations with them that aren't necessarily Mineplex related. And I also, I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's about it. Other than mentee parties, like everyone else has mentioned.
And that was Emily.
So sorry.
And because I've only been in MA for about a little over a month, I'm still getting to know a lot of my mentees. But what I've started to do is just having like not one-on-one, but like small little groups where we just get in a Discord server, we talk and play games, which is a really fun thing. And because it's a smaller group, like you really get to know people personally. Because even though mentee parties are fun, you don't like get to know people one-on-one. So that's one thing that I really like doing.
Umbreon?
To make the experience more fun for my mentees, I generally try to message them a lot about things that are not Mineplex related, just to try to get to know them better. And since I recently joined Sven's mentee group, I've been trying my best to reach out to everyone just to get to know them and maybe play some games with them. I have played games with a couple of them so far. So if you are a mentee and you're listening to this, and you want to play a game, please reach out. I would love to do that. Mentee parties, I try to go to as many as possible if I can make it. And also try to maybe host a couple of Force Fence mentee group. Me and Raven, from this point forward, well, not this point, but recently we've decided to try to host some of our own, just so we can have a better interaction with our mentees. So we're hoping this month isn't going to be too busy, so we can do that. But yeah, that's just, I guess, a general rundown of what I personally try to do.
All right. We're getting to the end of rapid fire off these last couple of things. Towards me, on a senior mod team, is there less of a chance of them getting MA? It really depends on their performance on that senior mod team and how dedicated they are towards MA and potentially giving up that senior mod team if they're promoted to STM. Towards Umbreon, did you like being a mentor before? How was it, and what was your mentoring style like?
Oh boy, it's a bit ago, so I'll try to remember as much as I can. But I definitely really enjoyed being a mentor. Honestly, one of the best experiences I've ever had on being a staff member in general. It was super fun getting into that leadership role, making decisions for my mentoring group, getting to know different people. My mentoring style, it was definitely a bit more on the casual side. I'd like to let mentees operate on their own, but be there if they need me for anything. It has been a while, so I can't really remember any specifics, but I generally try to keep things more casual. Let mentees kind of be on their own, but they can message me if they need anything. Stricter in terms of when it came to more serious things such as the MOT and EOT, and if any problems came up, I would definitely be more serious. But in general, I tried to be as casual as possible.
All right, towards you, Ryan. Why is your username Look Dan if your name's not Dan?
Yeah, that one honestly is just an inside joke with my friends. There was something about a Dan in some show that we watched, and that's really what it came from. Yeah.
All right. And the last question is towards me. As an admin, is it my full-time job? It is my only job. My husband Len also works, so that's how we pay our bills. And that's pretty much it. That's the entire Q&A. Well, all that we have time for, at least. So as a team, we'd like to thank you all for coming and listening to us ramble.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.